I'm super excited for today's episode because we're sitting down with the director of global talent at an amazing private equity company. You'll learn about what not to do in the recruiting process to be appealing to some of the biggest beauty brands in the world and how to stay relevant in a really, really hard market. Welcome back to Out of Office by Bridges. My name is Bella, and I'm here with a very exciting guest today, Sasha. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. I'm so excited. For those of you who are new, Out of Office is a safe space for women to talk about career, ambition, and to professionally focus on so many different things that we face as women and the complexities we face as women, because many women, such as Sasha, are amazing examples of people that are doing it all. And we want to promote the idea that like you really can do it all. And hopefully some of these conversations can give you the inspiration to figure out how to do that. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so Sasha, I mentioned this briefly. You are one of my like favorite like kind of like SF influencers. I'm fangirling again. I'm bringing all my favorite people on here, but it's actually true because you live such a full life. Like you really do. You do so many things. You're a Solidcore instructor. You have a badass job in PE. And you do so many things. Like you live such a full life. Can you give us a little bit of an intro to like who you are and what you do?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely don't count myself as an influencer at all.
You have impact in the community, so I challenge that. I do challenge that.
I appreciate it. So yeah, I work in private equity. I'm the director of global talent for Bansk Beauty, which is a beauty division of the private equity firm Bansk Group. And they house a bunch of beauty brands like Amika, BYOMA, Ethique, and Eva NYC. I also am a pro coach at Solidcore, so it keeps me up early in the morning and late at night. And then recently just got signed as a Lululemon ambassador. So
congrats! Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
Lots going on.
That's so exciting. Random side tangent. I was like a floor manager at Lululemon for many years. So yeah, Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not here. Are you assigned to a specific store? Or are you like SF region?
Fillmore.
Nice. Yeah. Congrats. Did you
Yeah.
do your photo shoot yet?
Not yet. It's coming up on, I think it's May 14th.
Nice.
I think.
That's exciting. That's so exciting.
Yeah,
Congrats. That's
fun.
a major win. Congrats. Yeah. Okay, so you work in private equity, but specifically in like a beauty sector. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into that and like what that is kind of like for you?
Yeah, for sure. So, not planned. Completely.
Most things happen like that, right?
For sure. Completely fell into it. I was in England, dropped out of college, decided I didn't want to do it anymore. My parents basically were like, get a job and pay rent or move out. And I was like, okay. Or go back to school. And I was like, school's not for me. So I got a job. The only job I could find as a 17-year-old without any qualifications was doing door-to-door sales. So that is where I found my start in sales. Used to knock literally door-to-door, signing up people to adopt pandas, which was...
To adopt pandas?
To adopt pandas, yes.
Private, from panda adopting to private equity. What?
Yeah.
Well, careers are not linear, people. Not at all.
So if you ever adopted one of those pandas, I hope you're still sponsoring them. But yeah, very much change of trajectory from that point to where I am now. From there, I fell into recruitment. Mm-hmm. Recruitment brought me out to the US. I moved to New York, I think in 2017. Mm-hmm. I think I'm about that 10-year mark now. Stayed in recruitment on the agency side for a long period of time. Really was in that like New York hustle era even. From there, went still agency, I guess, but I was doing more of like business process outsourcing or RPOs. So I was working on site with clients a lot. I did a really long stint with Shiseido through that recruitment agency. And from there I was like, wait, beauty's kind of cool and like innovative. And there's more to it than just like foundation or mascara. Yeah. So that was really, really eye-opening for me. I spent a lot of time in Texas with that company. We were flying back and forth to build out their technology innovation lab. Creating and hiring all of the people that had AI engineering. And I was like, how does this blend with beauty? And back when that was like 2019 maybe, I don't think AI was really a thing then. So like they were already ahead of the curve and I just got so kind of enamored and excited by that. And then left the agency world, joined Amika originally as a talent acquisition manager. Amika got bought by private equity. And then my role kind of grew and evolved as they brought more beauty brands to really oversee all of the beauty brands, talent and recruitment and people globally. And that's where we are now. I feel like, is beauty the end goal for me? I'm not sure, but I think it has this like perfect little triangle of like business. It's very, very business orientated, right? Look at the companies like Sephora. They are like multi-million-dollar, probably billion-dollar brands.
Yeah.
So it's very business orientated, but it has this like self-expression and identity pillar to it. And then it allows you to be creative. And I don't think that is narrowed to designer roles or creative roles. Like it literally transpires in every role across beauty that you get to have this like creative freedom. So very happy with like where I am now in this little beauty bubble.
And I feel like it's really cool because being in like a private equity kind of lens as opposed to just being like solely to one brand, I feel like it opens you up to so much more. Yes. And I feel like that is really cool because I have friends that have worked at big companies like Benefit Cosmetics and things like that, and I've heard that it gets a little siloed. So I imagine like working for a firm that has like multiple organizations underneath it, like it really just keeps your perspective like really broad and your experiences.
Yeah, and it keeps me extremely busy.
Yeah. Obviously, you're an extremely multifaceted person, as like anybody can see from your social media, from your LinkedIn, from everything that you do. Like there's so many things that you do, which is amazing. And so if it, like somebody is asking you like at dinner, like what do you do? Like how do you explain everything that you do?
Good question. Don't know. I don't know how you put all that into one sentence. I don't know. I had a dinner party last week for my birthday, actually, and I brought all of my friends together. Thank you. I brought all of my friends together that I've made in SF. So it was like 25 people from very, very different areas, right? Like some came from PE, some came from beauty, some came from Solidcore, some came from just like from Lululemon, from community that I built here. And everyone kind of like went around the table and they were like, my wish for Sash, or like, what is it we like about Sash, or how do we meet her? And the one word that really stuck out to me was connector. And it's been a week, but like I can't stop thinking about that word because I genuinely feel like that describes what I do and what I love doing, right? Like connecting talent to brands, connecting strangers to friends, connecting like movement to community. Like I feel like that encompasses what I would say I do.
Mm-hmm. That is a perfect summarization, actually. I love that. That's so eloquently put as well. And I feel like it's amazing. You have that energy of you as well. Like from just like experiencing you very briefly, like you have such an infectious and like welcoming energy.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's like, it's very prominent. Like I can, this is going to sound weird, but like you can feel you, which is like so amazing to have such a strong presence.
I love that.
Yeah. And so obviously talent and beauty is like such a specific lane. You said that you didn't get there intentionally, but I'm curious, why do you want to stay?
I think for the reason that I kind of said a little bit earlier is just it has that balance, right? I feel like when I was doing more of creative recruitment, it was very, very focused on creative, and you were just scrolling through portfolios and really understanding designers. And then when I was doing tech recruitment, it was like, okay, these people don't want to talk to you and they don't want to connect. They just like, they want a job and they want to go code. And there's something about one being in-house versus agency, because agency, obviously every agency is different, but when I was agency, I was pillared to creative and then I moved to tech, or vice versa. Whereas in-house, like now I look after everything, like from our interns to our exec searches, from marketing to supply chain, from IT to HR.
That's so cool.
So really get to see and encompass like all areas of the business, which I feel like has made me better at my role and more understanding to like other people's skills and what the businesses and what the brands need. Because I'm like, okay, if this person's got this strength in marketing, this is our downfall. This is where we need to fill that skills gap. So it allows you to kind of have wider visibility. So I think that's why I've kind of stayed in-house. In beauty specifically, it's fun. It is so fun, right? You're not just hiring people to go write code. And don't get me wrong, we need code. I love apps. I live on social media. But like, you're not just hiring for like one single purpose or one single thing. Like beauty is so personal, because like, I don't know, I'm a girly girl through and through. If my hair looks bad, if I feel unconfident with my hair, my day's ruined. I got to put a hat on. That hat changes my outfit. If I wake up and I've got a pimple, like I did today, then I'm like, oh my God, I got to change the foundation that I'm wearing. Like you're constantly thinking about it.
Yeah.
And by being able to put that makeup on or put that face mask on and come out with glowy skin, or, you know, spray the oil in my, or the gloss shine, whatever I'm going with Amika Gloss Shine Top Gloss in my hair, like
in my bathroom right
now. that makes the difference, right? And it builds confidence, and then that takes people through life. So I feel like I'm hooked on it right now because like I'm not just hiring people to do a job. I'm hiring people that are passionate about making other people feel good.
I love your answers. I'm like, I feel like I'm like actively a listener on this podcast. I'm not hosting. I'm like, I'm captivated by everything you're saying. So kind of feeding off of that, finding the right fit is obviously very important when it comes to like recruiting, right? And
important and hard.
Yeah, important and hard. And it's really interesting that you talk about like the almost like left to right visibility of like I'm going to use the word intersectional, but the intersectional aspect of the businesses, right? Yep. You're hiring for supply chain, you're hiring for potentially creative, brand, etc. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about like what right fit means to you as like an actual recruiting professional in that space.
I don't know what the right fit is. I think that it varies, right? I don't think there's any one right fit. There's definitely wrong fits. There's definitely wrong fits. We've had a few of those in my career. But like, I think when it comes to hiring, when finding the right fit, like one, obviously it's the skill set that you're looking for. Do you have the skill set or the fundamentals of the skill set that we can teach, train, and develop, right? And then it also depends on the company. Some companies are a phase, and not just like the brands that I work for now, but companies I've recruited for in the past. Everyone's different. Some companies are at a phase where they have got time and they have got money to invest in someone that maybe is the perfect like team fit and the vibe of the brand, and they believe in the mission, but they might be missing a skill, and we can put them through a 6-month course and we can afford to do that, right? And we've got the time to wait. And then there's other brands that like just do not have the time. They're a little bit scrappier. They need a jack of all trades. So I think the right fit really, really comes from being embedded in the brands and understanding what the company needs.
And that obviously can vary, like you said.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the times, especially in like today's market where people get really intimidated by how hard the market is right now, honestly. And sometimes it has actually like nothing to do with you. Like you could be the perfect culture fit for the role, but like somebody had this one skill set that you did not have and they didn't have time to train you on it.
It's so personal, but it's so not personal. Like I don't know how other way to say that. I do not envy anyone looking for a job right now. Like looking for a job truly as a full-time job. So if you're in a job and you're looking for a job and you have that time and capacity, I wouldn't change or quit until you found something else. The market's really, really tough right now. It genuinely is for everyone. And I think people get inundated, especially in like roles like mine. You get so many. We post a job on like some of our bigger brands. I'll post a role in 24 hours. It's had 5,000 applications.
Yeah, Jesus.
And I think like people forget because they see like, for example, Amika, they're like, oh my God, Amika is this big brand, this global brand. It does all these things. And I'm like, great, but it's just me. I am the only sole person. And we have, I don't know, at any one given time between 15 to 30 open jobs. And if I'm getting 5,000 applications for every job, like that is physically impossible. No amount of AI is like, AI is helping, but nothing is going to filter it down. Which is why I always give advice. I get so many, sorry, I'm on a tangent now.
No, go.
I get so many people DMing me or messaging me on LinkedIn and they're like, hi, I applied, or I do this, or like, I want to work at Amika or BYOMA or Eva or Ethique, and there's no jobs right now. And how do I'm like, put your notifications on.
Yeah.
Go on the jobs page on LinkedIn, turn your notifications on, because you need to be the first applicant there. You need to have already reached out to the hiring manager. The hiring manager needs to know your name, because that is how you are going to get ahead of the game. That is how you are going to stand out, because it's not necessarily you having the prettiest resume. Because if your resume is 5,000 out of 5,001, like that stacks the odds against you. Like if you are looking for a job, you got to take that seriously.
Yeah. That's such a good point. And it's interesting. I think of it as like you have to be proactive instead of reactive.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
I feel like I haven't talked about it too much on the podcast, but I talked about this a little bit on my TikTok. When I got my current role, I was originally an intern at a company, and it was right when they were having massive, I would say, workflow adjustments due to AI coming into play. And I think we were starting to see the ripple effect of what that looks like. Granted, I work for, I think, 120,000 person company, so it's pretty big.
Yeah.
And I was transitioning, trying to get a position as an intern. They didn't have headcount. They're not allocating headcount during like massive transformations, obviously. When I eventually got my job, I had applied to over, I think, 400 jobs. I stopped counting after like 375.
Yeah.
But within a 3-month period, I think it was like over 400 jobs. It was crazy.
It's truly insane.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm scared to say out loud how many years I've been recruiting for, because it's going to make me feel really old. But like, I don't think in my career I've seen the market this crazy.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like, ever. Yeah.
And you're saying that across like beauty and like adjacent industries as well, or just like beauty?
I think it's like all of my friends that I talk to, they're like, we are inundated with applications. Like, we physically cannot get through them. Yeah. Everyone's like, what AI tool are you using to filter it down? How are you like editing the questions and filtering out applicants? And how are you getting stricter with the restrictions? But it helps obviously a little bit, but it doesn't make a big enough impact for what you need.
Yeah.
And it's really, really hard for companies. I say this like very broadly. It's really hard for companies to put funds and investment in building out full recruitment teams for short periods of time. Mm-hmm. Like, right now we are insanely busy. There is so many roles open. Who's to say that's going to be the same in 2 months' time? So it wouldn't make sense to onboard and train a whole recruitment team or recruiter for every single brand, because they're just going through a busy phase.
Yeah.
But like, when you are in those busy phases, it makes it almost impossible to stay on top of.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's found a solution for that yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, especially in recruiting, I feel like at least, again, coming from like a tech industry perspective, there's a lot of things there's a lot of opportunities that take place on like contractual bases. But like in recruiting, like, how are you gonna, what does that look like?
I mean, we can hire contract recruiters, but I think part of every recruiter is different. Every recruiter has different opinions. But I think part of like the thing that I love about recruitment is like the candidate experience. You are literally matching talent with the brand, and you know it. I feel like I've got to a point. I've worked with Banks and with the brands I work for outside of BYOMA because they're new, but for like almost 4 years now. Like, I know the brands inside and out.
Yeah.
Like, I know in the first 10 minutes of meeting someone on an interview if you are going to be a right fit for Amika, for Eva, for Ethique, or for BYOMA. Like, I can tell instantly.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that by bringing in a contract recruiter, again, like, yes, really helpful for sourcing, for filtering through resumes, for scheduling, but like, that's a coordinator. That's not a recruiter. Like, no recruiter 100%. Is going to be fulfilled doing that. And then bringing in a contract recruiter for a 2-month period of time, trying to teach them every single thing about the brand and each hiring manager and what they like and what they don't like. It's like, that then adds to my workload that's already overloaded. Yeah. So it's kind of like a circle that you just go around in.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I have, this is like completely, it's a little bit of a side tangent, but I'm actually so curious. As somebody that is recruiting and interviewing people constantly, I would assume.
Yep.
What are some instant things that immediately stand out to you for a candidate?
Oh my God, so many.
I want to hear like the uncanny ones. Like, what are like random things that sit with you and you're like, fuck yeah, that person. Like, what, like, I'm just curious.
I think I go off energy, like
For
really
sure.
like go off energy. If you are coming into an interview and you're like shy and quiet and like just unengaged, I'm like immediately like, no. All of our brands, all of the brands that I work for now are very, very bright and bold. You can see that from their packaging 100%. And that is what they're like on the inside. Mm-hmm. So if you're coming in shy and timid and like, I'm like, hey, how's your day going? And you're like, good, thank you. It's like, okay, what am I doing with that? You know, like the conversation's got to be two ways. So I think coming in, like your energy coming off the bat is like immediately what I'm going to gravitate to. Mm-hmm. Can you hold a conversation? Yeah. Do you ramble? Because like, I got to be efficient with my time. You get 20 minutes, right? So it's like, are you rambling? Are you going on a tangent? Is it streamlined? Are you getting a point across the points that you need to get across in this moment? Are you telling me who you are, what you do, and what you want? And does it align? Yeah. If I can give a hot tip here, do not take interviews from your car or from a coffee shop. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't sit on the couch and do it from a laptop on your lap when it's bobbing every time you nod your head and you get excited. Just don't do it, okay? It's really competitive out there. Don't do it. Like, don't do it. Put your laptop on a chair, do anything, go to your friend's house, like anything. Don't take it from a coffee shop when there's background noise. Managers can't pay attention. We can't pay attention. There's things going on in the background. Like, that's automatically going to go against you. Mm-hmm. Don't go take it from your car, right? Like, come on. We've all got PTO. We've all got sick days. Take the afternoon off if you really want the job.
Facts. Honestly though, I will say like that is so true. I think people don't realize how much ROI is riding on those things. Like things that seem like quote unquote insignificant. No, like it makes or breaks. You're branding yourself.
1000%. And don't get me wrong, there is always exceptions to like those rules, right?
Sure.
Like if it's like, you know, an emergency happened, we're at the final stage and you're still trying to jump on or you're doing this, but like for the most part, companies are reasonable. Like, yes, we're all spinning in the world of 2026 and everything moves at the speed of light, but like we're reasonable people. Reschedule. It is going to work out better for you in the long run.
I think that's actually a really interesting point that you bring up. And I feel like that's a characteristic of very successful people, specifically like founders and stuff like that, is like knowing when to pivot, but also knowing when to like kind of like cut your loss and adjust. Like, for example, like you said, an emergency happened, you have to take the call in your car. Sometimes it's better to be like, hey, an emergency happened, I need to reschedule, like, and be more intentional with that experience than like have a negative externality happen because you weren't fully showing up as yourself.
1000%.
Yeah.
And communicate. If something happens, something changes, like send an email. Hey, so sorry, my internet just went out. I'm having to work from the coffee shop. I would love to still connect with you today, but completely understand if you want to reschedule. Like that takes 2 seconds to do, and it is more thoughtful and considerate. And then the team can be aware going into that interview of like, okay, I'm understanding, I'm accommodating. Bella's taken the interview from the coffee shop because she's made her effort to go do that while her internet went down. Versus, I had a situation the other day with a candidate that had gone to like a final stage interview and she was meeting one of our CEOs. And our CEO was like, she's in the coffee shop and I can't hear her. And I'm like, our CEO doesn't have any time. The CEO on this particular bank, like, doesn't have any time. So like, and she's like, did she tell you? Like, is there a reason? Did something happen? And I'm like, I don't have an explanation for you.
Yeah.
So that automatically like
makes you look bad.
It does. And impressions are everything. And when the market is so tough, those tiny little details really, really do go a long way.
Yeah. That's totally fair. I also, one thing that I think about that is kind of similar to this is it also shows your maturity.
Yeah.
And
EQ.
your
EQ.
Your seniority as well. I think that was something that I feel like I learned the hard way, especially I work on a very like highly visible team. My boss is a VP of the company. And like when I was earlier in my career, like 3 years ago, you always want to have the answer to everything, right? You always want to like show up and like whatever, even if you're not showing up to your best self. Again, it is better to be honest and to evaluate the situation instead of, you know, putting yourself out there and like eating shit, for lack of a better term. Like, no, honestly. And there's been so many times, even with simple things like projects, people like ask you to do things and like something comes up, you're not able to communicate it. And like you try to just like bullshit your way through it, basically.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Communicate the like, hey, this is what's going on and I'm not able to show up fully right now. Let me circle back with you. Or, hey, I actually don't have that answer. Let me find out and give you more information, because you immediately lose credibility when you try to bullshit your way through things.
1000%.
Yeah.
1000%. And that's how teams and community is built, right? Like that's that camaraderie that comes from working with your team is like, oh shit, I dropped the ball on this one, but like, you're going to help me like pick it back up. And then that's when you build the relationship and the closeness with your team, which ultimately leads to better work, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like you bond more through like, I don't know if failures is the right word, but you bond more through hardship than you do through like successes, like genuinely. Like that's when
you do.
When you're down in the trenches, like, you know, walking through or, you know, crawling through the dirt, like that is like literally when camaraderie is built.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. I hate the term trauma bonding, but there quite literally is no other word for it, right?
Yeah.
I say this to one of our HR directors all the time. I'm like, oh girl, we go through the thick of it sometimes, right? And like, she's one of my best friends, but like we wouldn't have probably become best friends if we didn't go through the thick of it of work and then like hang out outside of work and bond on that.
Yeah.
Right. Because we show up for each other when it matters. And that's how, again, the trust, the teamwork, the friendships are built.
Yeah, 100%. And it's nice when I was gonna say, this sounds kind of weird, but I fully believe this. Like, I would rather have like a really shitty situation happen earlier on in my experience with somebody in my career, like with teammates and stuff like that, because you instantly like, you learn how people think, you learn how people act, and you learn how to adjust together. And that is like critical in being a successful teammate, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd rather have that happen just like earlier on and like kind of move on from that. Yeah. Okay, we're going to get into a little bit about your crazy schedule and your crazy life, if that's okay. Transition a little bit away. You teach classes at 4 a.m., or you did previously, I will say.
Yes.
Why?
I hate myself. No, I'm just kidding. Why did I do that?
How did that come to fruition also? Because I feel like even getting a 5 a.m. class on the schedule is like a little bit challenging as somebody that, again, frequently takes Barry's workout classes at 5 a.m. How do you manage a 4 a.m.? How does that even work?
Yeah, I don't fully know or remember. But I feel like I have an annoyingly competitive streak in myself that I love and hate at the same time. And I vaguely remember a conversation with our old area manager at Solidcore, and he was like, I think like you can sell anything. Like I think you could sell a 4 a.m. class. And I was like, ugh. And then he was like, okay, bet you couldn't. And I was like, oh, bet I can. And I kind of did it to myself.
Okay, self-inflicted pain.
Self-inflicted pain.
I feel that.
Yeah, we learn. It was a good challenge. Yeah, for the few months that it lasted, we filled them up. They sold out. I don't know how, but people showed up. 4 a.m. Love you, whoever showed up and didn't make me sit there by myself. Yeah, we filled them up.
So for those who might not know, you are a pro Solidcore coach.
Yes.
Amazing. Congrats on that. That happened recently, right?
It did, yeah.
Congrats.
Honestly, Solidcore, I feel like it's happened recently. It's been like 18 months now, so like not really a long time. But it's gone really, really well and really fast.
That's so cool. And how did you get into training there?
Yeah, good question. Also kind of fell into it. I feel I'm a really intentional person, I swear.
But that's why life happens sometimes.
It really does.
And the best things.
I think it's like part of like going with the ebbs and flows, right? And being willing to try. When I was in New York, I worked the front desk at Barry's. It was like a really, really easy job, like once a week, maybe. I can't really remember. But you would get free classes. And I just moved to New York, thought I was like hot shit, and Barry's was the coolest workout to go to. And it was really expensive. Like
Barry's is, as somebody that personally pays out of pocket for Barry's is expensive. Please sponsor me. Thank you.
Honestly, all of the boutique fitness studios get expensive. But I just moved to New York. I was like, somehow thought that my £60,000 a year salary in the UK was going to translate well in New York, and it wasn't, right? I had to figure it out. So Barry's was a smart option to like work on the front desk. It was literally, hey, Bella, you're on treadmill too. Have a great workout. And that was as easy as it was. Then I'd met a bunch of instructors, and I'd met a couple that were Lululemon ambassadors. And I was like, that would be such a cool job to be like a Lululemon ambassador. And everyone was like, you got to like teach fitness to get there. And I was like, oh yeah, good point. That would probably help, right? Kind of like left that goal. It was like a goal in the back of my head, a very, very loose dream. Moved to San Francisco just 2 years last month, so 2 years ago. Started to work at Barry's in the front desk, and I was like, this is not for me. It was a bigger commitment. California employment laws are different to New York, so you could get away with doing, I guess, less hours in New York. And my job was really, really busy. New job now. So I got connected with the area manager, Sergio, who'd moved across from New York to SF to open up the first ever Solidcore. And he was like, hi, my husband's British, you're British. Someone told me to reach out to you. Do you want to be friends? And I was like, yes, I don't have any friends here. So I became good friends with Sergio. He was like, you should audition for Solidcore. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, let me give it a go. I did. I cannot tell you what happened in that audition. It was the fastest 2 minutes of my whole entire life. Apparently I made some kind of joke that stuck. We won't repeat that. But it stuck on the audition. And then got the job and went straight into training, and here we are.
That's so crazy. And how many classes or what certifications or hours do you have to get to be a pro instructor?
Cool. You're going to test me now to see if I really know Solidcore rules. 500 classes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you teach 500. I think they have different rules of like a certain amount of time or like a certain amount of classes to be taught at each level. So they have like a starter coach, and then a standard coach, and then a senior coach, then pro coach, and a senior master coach.
Wow. Super cool. And obviously, like we've established this, you have an amazing career. You're super busy. You have a relationship. You have so many things going on. Solidcore. How do you do all of that? Like, how do you survive doing all of that? A key question, survival.
I don't think the balance is real, at least not daily. Like, genuinely, like people that are like, I have the perfect work-life balance. Who are you?
Fucking liar. That's what you are.
I
Fucking
feel
liar.
like it's a lie.
Yeah.
Because there is no day maybe I'm being dramatic, but most days I'm not like, wow, I crushed it in my corporate job. I taught the best classes of my life. I showed up as the Lululemon ambassador. I checked in with my family. All of my friends are doing great today. My man's happy. The groceries are done. The house is like, what? No, that doesn't happen. It just doesn't. Something always has to give. And you have to learn to prioritize and be okay with it, right? Like, I'm never going to be like, my life's so together. Like, it's not. Right? There's days when my boyfriend's happy. There's days when my bosses are happy. There's days when my boss is more important than my boyfriend and my boyfriend is more important than my boss. And like, you compromise and you give and take where you need to at each phase of your life or whatever you're going through. But I think organization, I am OCD with organization. There's a girl, I feel like she's international. Everyone knows her, but just in case you don't, her name's Grace Beverly. Have you heard of her? Yeah. Yes. Okay, great. See, everyone knows her. I started following her years ago and I was like, this girl she does it all. Like she literally does it all. I'm pretty sure she was like I think it was an Oxford grad, and she started a company or two companies while she was still in school, got fundraising, and now she's like continued to build her brands. And then she created a planner called the Productivity Method. I feel like you have it. Do you have it?
I don't have it, but I've seen it.
It's my Bible. It is my literal Bible. I was in Scotland with one of our CEOs the other day, and he was like, is that a Bible? I got the red one, like the burgundy one, so it looks like a Bible. And he was like, did you bring a Bible to the office? And I was like, it's my Bible. Like, time blocked to a T. My travel time is blocked. My stand up and stretch my legs time is blocked. Everything is time blocked, so I make time for what I need to get done that day, that week, that month.
100%. I had not that exact planner, but I had one almost identical, and it was my absolute savior until I started working with so many different teams. I will say I'm a pen to paper person usually. Like, I need it to survive. But everyone else around me is digital. And so I had to like pivot to like, I'm in GCal. Like, I am a Google Calendar girl now, but I love the authenticity, the purity I feel when I write pen to paper. But
I think she has a digital version.
Does she really?
I'm pretty sure.
Don't tell me that.
I'm pretty sure she does. But there's something on there about, I'm going to completely butcher this. Grace Beverly, if you ever watch this, I'm sorry. But there's something about splitting your tasks up into like 5-minute tasks, 30-minute tasks, more than 30 minutes, right? Working with international teams, I'm sure you have it as well.
Yeah.
There'll be days when I literally do 25 meetings back to back. And I'm like, holy shit. What were my action items? So like, I'll take notes from the calls and I'm like, okay, this one's going to take 5 minutes. This one's going to take 30. This one's going to be a project. And I'll take notes and then write that in a bigger piece of paper. Sometimes it's not even the planner because there's so much to go through, and then use it from there. But that strategy, that philosophy has like served me really, really well on how to prioritize tasks.
Yeah. And I feel like everything that you explained is like really, I feel like the whole reason that we have this podcast is like the experiences of modern women, right? Yep. There's so many complexities to your life. There's so many complexities to your schedule. You try to show up as best as you can in every single aspect of your life. And that isn't always realistic. Something has to give.
First of all, if you're applying for a job, apply through the professional routes. Apply through the app online, apply through the link, submit your resume through there, reach out on LinkedIn for sure, of course. Like, don't be offended or upset or like disheartened if someone doesn't respond, because like, again, to the point, there's so many applications and honestly not enough or big enough internal talent teams. I'll get them occasionally when people will be like, hi, I messaged you on LinkedIn and you didn't respond, so I found you on Instagram. And sometimes I'm like,
that's personal. It's not like
like, this is not my work social media, but then I do have that I work at the brand. So sometimes I try and give a little bit of grace, right? If I'm like, okay, you really are trying for this role, like I'll respond. But to the point that I was just kind of going to when we got onto a little bit of a tangent is like, you got to be smart in the way that you're applying. Like, I cannot tell you, Bella, the shit that I see. The shit that I see.
Tell me the shit. I'm curious. What is coming to mind?
Someone uploaded their W-9. I'm not a real American. So like, is it W-9 or W-4?
W-2.
You're wrong number. W-2.
I knew what you meant.
Instead of their resume on their job application. They did what? If you can't name a document and upload the correct document, you think I'm going to trust you with our confidential files working at one of my brands? One of the brands I work for? No, like, Please, like, pay attention. Those small things, again, going back to like what we were saying, in this crazy market, in this busy market, like those small things make such a difference.
Yeah.
You are going to get judged on those. I'm
Yeah.
judging you.
Yeah.
I am. I'm sorry, I am.
Yeah.
Take your selfies off your resume while we're at it. Take your selfies off your resume. Are you a model? Maybe. You are not applying for a model job. Take it off. In a world where, I'm really passionate about this. Sorry, was that bitchy?
We're
No,
gonna
they do it all
circle.
the time.
Wait, I want to circle back to that, but continue your thought. I want to circle back.
In a world where women have had to fight so hard for our motherfucking rights to be seen, to be heard, to get a seat at the table, to remove unconscious bias, you're going to go ahead and put a selfie on your resume showing your cleavage? Please. Like, come on. It's going to do two things. Get you the job or not get you the job, and neither are going to be good. Like, don't do it.
I'm dying right now.
Sorry.
No, but this is amazing feedback. So I originally, when I was starting in my career, I was like a UGC content creator for Benefit Cosmetics. I had a friend that was in the influencer marketing space there. I did a bunch of like product launch videos for them for UGC stuff. But I kind of was interviewing for a role there. And I was working with my friend who, again, very like reputable in the beauty space. And for some reason, I had bought a template where it had the like, you know, an option to put your profile picture, like whatever. And I think I did do that. And it's really interesting how even in like today's day and age, a lot of people position themselves for creative roles with things like cover photos and stuff like that. I've always, like, this is from from a like statistically proven standpoint. I have like I think it's called like the Harvard quintessential template of like resume applications, where it's like the really, really basic one, like super like norm, like, or super basic, basically. There's nothing creative about it. That like is statistically proven to perform better, isn't it, than like some of these like really intense like creative resumes. I remember when I was applying with my creative resume, again, because I thought I was going into something more creative, like I didn't see the light of fucking day, other than with, you know, Benefit, who I had like rapport with. I honestly, now looking back, I kind of felt like an idiot for having a photo of myself. Granted, it was professional. It wasn't anything crazy. You know, I looked beautiful. But like, you're totally right in terms of like the bias. Like, what are you trying to accomplish here?
We've worked so hard to get here. Like, don't diminish that.
Yeah.
And to the point, I will like take a step back and say that if you are applying to be like talent, yes, like, you're going to be on camera talent. You are going to be a model for one of our photo shoots. Like, yes, put it on, of course. If you are applying to show that you like are a hairdresser and you're going to be in store doing hair at Ulta, like, yes, maybe put it on to show that like you can do your own hair. Great. Sure. Like, we're not going to get you banned for that. But like, if you are leading supply chain, why do I need to see your face? Like, no, give yourself a chance. Like, take the bias away. And I feel like I genuinely try to be one of the recruiters, time permitting, that like will look past it, and I will read your resume to see what's on there. But like, there are so many recruiters out there that don't do that. We are all inundated and overwhelmed. If you've got your picture on there, it's creating bias. I guarantee it. Good or bad, it is creating bias. And like, we're working so hard to build a world that is not biased, to build a world of equality where it is fair. Take it off. Don't do it to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, like my resume performed exponentially better when I reformatted and went honestly to something that was like super basic.
Because we're looking for skills.
Yeah.
We're looking for skills. We're looking for experience.
When you said the supply chain joke, again, my company has, sorry, I hit the mic. My company like has a major like supply chain software. So I was just like, I'm dead. Imagining my 22, like really, I was cuter. I was cuter back then. My little 22-year-old self with a selfie being like supply chain. Honestly, I probably would have got the job, to be maybe.
Right, but like
for the wrong reasons, obviously.
Okay, yeah. I realized I just got completely distracted on what we were talking about. When you're applying for a role, right? To the point, make sure your resume is professional, make sure it's relevant, make sure like you are applying and attracting, like you're matching the skills.
Yeah.
Use ChatGPT, use Claude, use AI, right? Put your resume in, put the job description in, pull out the skills that match and play to your strengths. Like, oh my God, please stop using AI to ask it how to respond to a Slack message from your boss. Like, stop. Use it to play to your strengths. In doing that, do not copy and paste it. We can see through and through ChatGPT, blue headlines. Change the font, right? Come on, be smart. Put a little extra effort in. But like, use it to your strengths, right? And what I was talking about, like when we really were getting into it, is like, if you are applying for a role and the role is asking for X, Y, and Z, and you're applying without X, Y, and Z, and without a reach out to say how you would learn X, Y, and Z, you are wasting your time, my hiring manager's time, like everyone's. If we're hiring, and I get this all the time, like, I'm all for shooting your shot, babe, all for it, but like, make it make sense, right?
Yeah.
If we're hiring for a vice president of marketing, which we have been hiring for a vice president of marketing, I will get, actually, vice president's rank, let me change that off. If we're hiring for a senior director of marketing, it's posted up online, I will get coordinators, resumes applying, thousands of them. And I'm like, you have 1 year of experience. In what world do you think a company, any company, not to be a bitch, is going to let you run their marketing department? Like, make it make sense. And then, like, side note, I do, to make myself save time, use AI and write notes on these resumes. So if you, Bella, a coordinator with 1 year of experience applying for our director of marketing role, or our creative director role, or all these senior level roles that say they require 10 years of active experience and you've got one, I'm like, Bella doesn't read. So then when you do apply for a coordinator role, I already got that note in my head.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Like, companies look and track that, right? Like, we create talent pools that we can come back to.
Yeah.
Because it does happen. Some people will, like, some roles are very, very close in the way that they are, like product marketing to brand marketing. There is some crossover and transition, or to retail and trade. So, like, sometimes people will apply and I'm like, no, we actually need this for this, but I'll keep them in mind for this role. And then when we get a brand role open, before I even take it to market, I'm looking at the resumes that I've already stored that looked good for other roles.
Yeah.
Again, giving side eye if you're applying and you're not qualified for the role. And a lot of companies, again, depending on where they're at, are open-minded in the sense of, like, we can teach, we can train, we can develop skills. So that's why I say, like, always shoot your shot, but make it realistic, right? If the job says 2 to 4 years and you've got one, apply. If the job says 10 to 15 years and you've got one, don't apply.
So I do have a question for you, though. So what about people that are like the tweeners, right? Like, I'll use myself as an example. I have officially, like, 4 years at, like, a really, really big company, 2 years before that in freelancing for, like, startups. So, like, right now I'm in like solid mid-management, right, I would say. But, like, I am interested in going for either a senior manager role, or at some companies would be labeled as, like, a director role. Do I still apply for that job? So technically, let's say I have 6 years of experience, but, like, 8 is what they're looking for. What about the tweeners?
If you think that you have the skills that are listed and you do now the responsibilities that are listed on there, then yes, apply. But apply with a note. Like, you don't have to write a full cover letter. Cover letters have been got, no one reads that shit. But, like, message the hiring manager on LinkedIn, message the recruiter, message HR on LinkedIn, and say, like, hey, I've applied for this job. I realize you're asking for 8 years. I've got 6, but this is why I would be a great step up candidate into this role. Is this something, like, I value and respect so much when candidates will be like, hey, they'll ask that question and they'll be like, do Amika care about learning and development? Are they interested in training people? And I'm going to say, yeah, we absolutely do. For this role, we can't, for this X, Y, and Z reason. Or for this role, we can. Let me get you in front of it. Like, ask the question. Don't just assume, and don't apply or send things with no context, because then people are going to respond just as fast with no context.
So additionally, kind of feeding off of that, I feel like we hear a lot, like, just in general, that, like, women initially take themselves out of races, right? Like, they don't apply for jobs, even if they're, potentially qualified. They meet, like, let's say 85% of the skill set. They won't apply because they don't meet the 100% exactly what the recruiter may be looking for. What's your opinion on that?
I don't want to get fired from my job if I say this out loud. Channel that white man energy, babe.
Yeah, like just apply, right?
I agree. I talk to my coach about this all the time. Like, women do this to themselves, and you don't need to. I do think it's changing. I think it used to be a huge thing. I am seeing women advocate for themselves like they have never advocated before, and I love to see it. And you should. Like, why should it just be the man advocating?
Yeah.
Apply with the same energy that man has. Apply with the same energy that the non-binary person has. Apply with the same energy, whoever you are. Apply, advocate for yourself. If these are your skills, this is what the company's asking for, apply, ask for it, shoot your shot.
Yeah.
But again, if it doesn't quite match, do it with intention, because that is going to go so much further, right? To the point that I feel like I'm rambling on this of like, recruiters are inundated. The job market is wildly swamped right now. They're moving just as fast as you're applying. So if you're applying for a job that you're not qualified for with no note, no reason, no like, I did this extra project, or like I volunteered to do this, or I've taken this like additional stretch project at work. If you've done the stuff, like say it, speak up, advocate for yourself.
110%. I try to hit home with this, like at our like Bridges panels, that when anybody asks about self-advocating but like, you need to be able to position yourself. I think that's where people like really miss the mark, is you have to be able to specifically talk about your relevant skills, how they translate, your stretch projects, what you've done to showcase the skills or showcase the ability to obtain those skills, and be able to sell yourself. It is like, you are like the interview process, it is all you marketing yourself. You are establishing your brand to that company and your relevancy to that company. And that, like, at least for myself, again, coming from like beauty and fashion and transitioning into tech, that was exactly what I did. It didn't matter that like I didn't know what ERP software was, and I didn't know what SaaS was at the time. You know, do I now? Debatable. I've been in the industry for almost 5 years. But like, I would literally just look at exactly what they were looking for, what my relevant skills were, and I would develop a narrative to talk about exactly why I was relevant for the role and what impact I could make because of those skills.
Right. And it goes such a long way. I can get onto the social media stuff now. We're recruiting, like right now I'm recruiting for a bunch of social media roles across different brands. And social first is like leading the way in 2026, right? Like if you're not trending on social, if you're not doing this on social, like you're probably not keeping up with the trends, right? So of course, the brands that I work for, they want to hire from the companies that are leading in social, that are super engaged, that are super active. If you're applying for those roles and you're not working for one of those companies, like if your company that you're working for right now isn't social first, that already, unfortunately, is a little bit up against you. But if you have your own social media, if you have your own portfolio of side projects, content creation you've done, attach it, submit it, get your ass on Canva, babe. It is free. Make a portfolio.
Yep. My girlfriend actually just transitioned from public accounting into being a social media manager. Like, Gabby. Yep.
Changes happen. You just have to like do it with intention and position yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
You really do.
Yeah, and I think, and that is actually, I think the beautiful thing about like the internet, AI, accessibility nowadays is like you have all of the information at your motherfucking fingertips. Like you can figure out how to do these things, even if it isn't, even if it doesn't look exactly what you think it should look like, figure it out anyways. Be scrappy. Resourceful.
Right. And like when you go into interviews, if you're going in and you're like knowing that like, again, maybe your experience isn't, I'm talking about the social media role again. If your experience isn't coming from a social first, community engaged brand, then like do your research on brands that are. So you can speak to it. So you have the same value. Like if I was, not that I'm telling everyone to go apply for the Amika role because we're already undated, but if I was applying for the director of social media at Amika and I'm coming from a brand that isn't social first, when I get that interview, I'm going into the interview being like, okay, here's how I feel like Amika's strategy can grow, can evolve. How's how you can get more engaged with the community. I love that Duolingo is doing this. Liquid Death just left this campaign. Ryanair responds like this on Threads or on X or whatever it is. Like this is how they get people going. This is how community gets engaged. It's how you build brand loyalty. And I think so many people go in with like, oh yeah, well I do social media or I do brand marketing. And it's like, okay, but do you do it to the next level that's going to get the company excited? What is going to make you stand out from every other person they're interviewing?
And do you create impact? So my background is like my current role, I'll say, is I manage all content production from social media all the way to like content sessions for go-to-market product launches. So it's like a little bit of everything, but I kind of like oversee a lot of efforts of a lot of other people. So I'm not on the ground activating, but that's kind of my role. And it is it is so imperative that people are able to talk about impact when they're like going into these situations, going into interviews, anything. You need to be able to articulate the impact you could make. I remember when I was early on in my career applying to, I'll name drop in this case scenario. I was applying to Bloom Energy for some of their initial social and like community. It was like social influencer and like community impact roles, like something like that. And I interviewed with Greg, who is like the CEO of the company. Mari's husband, for those of you who know the brand. And I will never forget, they asked me the simplest fucking questions that were about like relevancy in social media, like at that point in time. And I couldn't answer them. Looking back on them, I'm like, why would I not know those things? Like, if it doesn't necessarily matter if you don't have like we've been saying, you don't have the relevant skills. What matters is you're able to articulate like what is going on in the market, what impact is being driven, and how you are going to continue to make that impact, or, you know, impact the impact further, basically drive the impact further. But I remember they asked like, who are some relevant brands in market that you look up to right now? Who do you think are driving like social first content? And I think I gave like decent answers, but they weren't like the best answers, right? It wasn't like premeditated. It wasn't a prepared answer. And those are things you should always know. Who's doing something interesting, who's pushing the boundary forward, and who is relevant right now. Because that's, again, in your industry, that's something you should know.
Yeah, 1000%. Also love Bloom energy drinks.
I've never tried it.
You need to get the apple crisp flavor. It's literally
okay. So I've seen
it's
that
my every
most.
day. It's my coffee in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen that came out recently. But yeah, way back. But it's so funny, when I applied, they were a team of five people, and
they've done phenomenal.
Yeah.
They've done truly phenomenal. I think there's so many brands, to your point, out there that are doing that, and the simplest things go such a long way. Mm-hmm. Like, effort is cool.
Yeah.
Effort is cool.
Yeah.
Make effort for something that you want.
Yeah, and I feel like we could go on a complete tangent about how effort is cool. I feel like that's such a larger conversation about. I think I saw like a meme about this recently that I thought was so relevant. It was like something about failure being sexy because at least I fucking tried, or something like that. And I'm like, fuck yeah, like yeah,
get up and do it.
Yeah,
nothing is coming to you.
Yeah, but I feel like I will say, I feel like this is a little bit of like a biased conversation, because I feel like you and I have the audacity. Like, and not everybody does. And I wish that people had the fucking audacity. Like, just, like, even if you don't believe it, fucking have the audacity.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think our conversation is different because clearly we both got audacity. But I think there's a lot of people that don't. And it's okay if you don't, right? I think one of the biggest things I've learned about going internal is that, like, there are different types of people in companies, and that is okay.
Yeah.
There are the audacious, the ambitious. They are the people that are like, how do I climb this corporate ladder? And then there are people that like, no, I just want to pay my mortgage and go home and spend time with my kids.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
And that is okay, right? Like that. Yeah. Both are okay. But like, if you want something, you got to put effort in for it. Nothing is coming to you. It might come to you once off, but like, you know, luck isn't forever. You got to put effort in, and you have to try. And
I think especially like living in a city like San Francisco, you that and some. Like, realistically, it's so competitive here. There's so many things to consider: the cost of living, the continuous innovation. Like, there's so many things that are impacting your ability to just like live and like be successful. And so I think, I don't know about you, but like at least me, again, working in tech, like you feel so much pressure in terms of like innovation and driving forward and AI and all these things, and, you know, staying relevant, staying educated, and staying in the know. Like, I don't know. It's all just like things that I think about that I feel like make San Francisco specifically a little bit more of like a bit of a pressure cooker in that way of like you have to do that and some. Yeah, to survive. I would agree. Here. I think SF and New York are like the same but different in terms of that pressure cooker of like everyone is on the next big thing. Mm-hmm. New York is more like the next big social thing, the next big like event, and then the next big like fashion trend, whereas SF is more like the next tech, who's creating the next app, who's building the next company, who's the next startup CEO. Like, you don't have to be a CEO, but you do have to try. So we're going to do a lightning round to close off really quickly. What is some career advice that you would give to your 22-year-old self? Effort is cool. Keep fucking trying. Fuck yeah. Like, truly, I literally was 22 when I upped to move my life to New York by myself, and no one here, and was sat in a one-person WeWork office. Like, okay, I'm going to make this work, right? And I'll never forget. Oh, fuck, you said lightning round, didn't you? No, go. You're fine. Just keep going. You're fine.
I will never forget, sat in this office and our CEO had given me the opportunity to move out to New York, and they were covering my relocation, all these things, but I had a monetary value. I had to make this amount of money, and I was like, we have no clients. How do I do this? I went on LinkedIn, started messaging like VPs of HR or talent and recruitment at different companies. And I was like, hi, I'm hosting a networking event for senior leadership in recruitment and talent. Like, do you want to come to this dinner? And they were like, yeah, sure, who's going? And I was like, Google, Apple, everyone. And I would just like name a bunch of companies until I ended up getting companies saying yes. And in the first month, I brought together a dinner of 15 VPs, chief HR officers, heads of talent from the coolest brands in New York at the time, and signed like 7 contracts that week after it.
I love that.
Like, keep fucking trying. Blag it. Fake it till you make it. With intention. Be intentional how you do it, right? There's always a purpose behind it, but like, try. You don't have to know all the answers. You can figure it out as you go along, and keep doing what you've been doing, babe, is my advice.
Fuck yeah. Oh, I love this. I love this conversation so much. Okay. So, one thing people completely misunderstand about hiring.
This one thing is hard. I think 2 things. One, that it's quick. It is not. It is not, especially not in this market. There are so many candidates. There's so many applications that creates options for managers, right? It's like dating. There is a lot out there. So it's not quick. And number 2, I think people put so much effort and focus on it being skills based. You have to have the skills to do this job. You have to have the experience and have done this job before. And I think one of the key things that people forget about is EQ. You need people with high EQ. Because like, yes, can you write the most perfect, beautifully written, functioning code of all times? Sure. But when shit hits the fan, when things go wrong, when it starts to get a little bit tough, how is that person responding?
Who is one woman in San Francisco that you look up to?
There's so many. I think right now I'm really obsessed with my friend. Her name's Tatiana. She is also a Solidcore coach, but she just launched her own social club. It's called the Homebody Club. And she's really, it's so beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And she's really trying to bring together like women over the age of 24 that want to make friends, want to make community in the city. And she is just such a positive joy of light. So I'm rooting for you, babe.
Love. I've seen that on TikTok recently. Yeah, it looks really cool.
Good.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope it was educational. I hope you took something away. And be sure to like, subscribe, listen wherever you're listening to all your wonderful podcasts, and maybe send it to a friend if you found it beneficial. So yeah, hope to see you soon.